High above the city, the clock tower strikes 3, its resonant chimes cutting through the clamor of Mumbai Central. A sudden explosion of wings as thousands of pigeons burst forth from the station's rafters, a flurry against the sooty glass ceiling. Below, Platform 4 pulses with life, a vibrant hub teeming with travelers and bustling activity. Amidst the station's hustle, a forgotten chai cup and crumpled ticket hint at fleeting moments. Alone and still, Toby sits, his button eyes reflecting the station's indifference. His worn fur tells tales of countless journeys. Amidst the bustling Platform 4, a young girl and her mother pause, their journey briefly intersecting with Toby's solitary world. Drawn by an unspoken empathy, the girl reaches out to Toby, only to be restrained by her mother's firm grasp and a sharp, "We'll miss our train, Priya, leave it." Abandoned once more, Toby stands alone, unseen and unclaimed, as the relentless crowd surges around him, indifferent to his silent sorrow. The waiting room fades into twilight, its shadows whispering tales of countless departures. A forgotten teddy bear, its fur weathered by time, sits forlornly on a bench, a silent sentinel amidst the echoing solitude. Distant train announcements echo through the room, each call a melancholic reminder of journeys taken and those left behind. In the sunlit park, a younger child's laughter fills the air as he lovingly embraces his teddy bear. The teddy bear radiates warmth, its fur glowing vibrantly in the sunlight. With meticulous care, the child secures a bright red ribbon around the bear's neck, sealing their bond in a moment of pure innocence. The train door hisses shut, a metallic echo sealing the child's departure. Lost in the glow of his smartphone, the child casts a fleeting glance at the teddy bear abandoned on the bench. The train pulls away, leaving the teddy bear alone, a frayed ribbon marking the slow fade of childhood memories. Through Toby's button eyes, Arav's face appears, pressed against the cold train window. The train begins to move, and Arav's mouth forms a silent "oh" of horror. His small hands slap frantically against the glass, a desperate plea lost in the growing thunder of the engine. The train carrying Arav pulls away, leaving Toby isolated on the platform. Desperation turns to despair as Toby is pushed to the ground, unnoticed by the uncaring crowd. Adding insult to injury, a janitor sweeps Toby under a bench, as if he were nothing more than dust. Under the cold bench, Toby lies motionless, his button eyes fixed on the grimy platform. The sticky soda surrounds him, a stark reminder of his isolation. Lost in the muffled sounds of the station, Toby is completely alone. In the dimly lit kitchen, the scent of burnt roti hangs heavy in the air as Arav confronts the silence. Amidst the half-eaten meal, Toby watches silently from his perch, a steadfast observer in Arav's solitude. The faint hum of the refrigerator underscores the quiet desperation of the scene. In a sun-drenched kitchen of yesteryear, laughter dances freely as young Arav proudly displays his gap-toothed grin. His father playfully ruffles Arav's hair, their bond radiating warmth and affection. Toby, ever the silent observer, sits perched on the kitchen table, a steadfast witness to the joyous family moment. Tension fills the kitchen as Arav's parents engage in a heated argument, each word cutting deeper than the last. Arav cowers in the corner, clutching Toby tightly as his parents' voices rise. The father storms out, slamming the door, leaving Arav and Toby in a heavy silence. In the dimly lit dining room, Arav sits alone at the table, his sullen face a mask of quiet rebellion. The scraping of his fork against the plate echoes in the silence, each sound a small act of defiance. His mother watches from across the room, her face etched with a mixture of concern and weary resignation. Morning light streams into the dining room, casting the scene in gentle stillness as Arav sits, his young face clouded with a deep frown. His mother's voice, thin and brittle, cuts through the silence as she speaks of new beginnings. "Just for 6 months, Beta," she pleads, her words painting a picture of temporary sacrifice. "Until Daddy finds a new job in Jaipur." The dining room is filled with a tense silence, broken only by the grating sound of Arav's fork against his plate. Arav's face reflects the raw emotion of a child facing the potential loss of his friends. But my friends... Arav sits silently, his small face pressed against the window, watching his old life fade away. He clutches a worn toy, a comforting relic of happier days. His mother sits across from him, her forced smile betraying the sadness in her eyes. Amidst a sea of unpacked boxes and echoing emptiness, Arav stands defeated, his spirit crushed by the sterile atmosphere of his new room. His mother strides into the cavernous space, her forced cheerfulness echoing hollowly against the stark reality of their new beginning. He'll make new ones, Arav. Jaipur has many good children. Arav's face remains impassive, betraying none of the enthusiasm she hopes to elicit. In the dim solitude of his new room, Arav lies rigid in bed, the city symphony a haunting backdrop to his despair. Clutching a photo of happier times with Toby, Arav whispers his friend's name as tears flood his eyes. Toby. Sunlight floods the worn kitchen as Arav sits, lost in quiet play with Toby, his stuffed bear. The gentle dance of dust motes belies the subtle hints of financial hardship etched into the room. His mother enters, her face a canvas of worry, a stack of bills heavy in her hands. Arav's mother sighs deeply, her eyes reflecting a poignant blend of love and sorrow as she watches Arav. A silent acknowledgement passes between Arav's mother and Toby. Arav looks up, his brow furrowed with confusion, clutching Toby tighter as his mother speaks. "You're 12 now, Beta. Don't you think it's time?" In the dim glow of his room, Arav lies awake, Toby peacefully nestled by his side. Lost in thought, Arav strokes Toby's fur, a silent farewell to simpler days. A single tear escapes as the distant echo of his mother closing the door fills the silence. In the heart of night, Arav's room is drowned in shadows, with only the moon's gentle glow to cut through the oppressive darkness. Arav clutches Toby tightly, seeking solace in the worn fur as quiet sobs escape his lips, each breath a silent cry in the suffocating stillness. The room seems to shrink around him, the walls closing in as Arav's small frame trembles with unspoken fear and sorrow. Tears stream down Arav's face as he clutches Toby with desperate intensity. His grip tightens, knuckles bleaching as he whispers a solemn vow. "I would never leave you." In the quiet of Arav's room, Toby's button eyes stare unblinking, holding a silent understanding. Moonlight reveals the frayed stitches on Toby's arm, a testament to time and wear. The silence hangs heavy, a stark reminder that promises whispered in the dark often vanish with the dawn. A taxi awaits, its trunk open, ready to swallow the last remnants of a life about to change. The echoes of finality resonate as the trunk slams shut, sealing more than just luggage. Toby's gaze pierces through Arav, whose attention remains lost in the digital void of his phone, oblivious to the thickening silence. Inside the cramped taxi, the scent of stale air hangs heavy as Arav clutches Toby. Arav's eyes remain fixed on his phone, goodbye messages lighting his face. Toby observes Arav, a silent acknowledgement of the distance growing between them. In the confined space of the taxi, Arav's face is lit by the sudden arrival of a text from Rohan. Arav's fingers dance across the screen as he eagerly responds, the digital world consuming his attention. Toby watches Arav, his expression a mix of quiet resignation as he witnesses the growing distance between them. Inside the taxi, Arav's world shrinks to the screen of his gaming device. Toby, once cherished, now rests forgotten as Arav's fingers fly across the screen. Lost in the game, Arav's focus intensifies, shutting out the real world. Through the taxi window, Toby watches their apartment building shrink into the distance. A fleeting memory. Arav and Toby stargazing on their small balcony. Another memory flashes. Arav's scraped knee, his father's comforting embrace. Each image fades as the taxi drives on. The taxi jolts violently, sending Toby tumbling to the floor, unnoticed and alone. Arav remains oblivious, lost in his game as Toby lies forgotten. A small, silent betrayal complete. Mumbai Central Station explodes with a symphony of chaos. Trains thunder, vendors cry out, and a sea of humanity surges through the platforms. Amidst the overwhelming frenzy, Toby's eyes widen, capturing the dizzying scale of the scene. Arav and Toby push through the crowd, battling the relentless flow of people. Arav stops abruptly near a hard, wooden bench, his manner distant and hurried. "Wait here." Arav's command echoes coldly as he places Toby on the bench. Arav walks away without a backward glance, leaving Toby alone amidst the station's intensifying chaos. Amidst the station's chaotic pulse, Toby sits alone, a solitary figure searching for a familiar face in the relentless crowd. His hands clench the bench, a desperate grip against the rising tide of despair. Tears blur his vision as the haunting sound of a departing train echoes, a symbol of Arav's absence and Toby's uncertain fate. Toby sits silently on the faded park bench, his button eyes watching Arav. Arav eagerly buys a sticky red lollipop from the vendor, his face filled with simple joy. Toby watches Arav's fleeting joy. Arav sits on the bench, bathed in the light of his phone, lost in a world of memes. He laughs, a moment of pure joy in the digital embrace. Toby watches, his button eyes reflecting the screen's glow, a silent observer in Arav's digital world. In the vibrant park, Arav celebrates a shared victory with an enthusiastic high five, forging an immediate bond with a boy in a Ronaldo jersey. Toby remains on the bench, an increasingly distant figure as Arav's world expands beyond their familiar bond. The effortless camaraderie between Arav and the stranger underscores Toby's growing sense of isolation. The bustling train station vibrates with life as passengers surge through the echoing halls. Amid the chaos, young Arav's eyes light up as he watches a juggler, a brightly colored lollipop clutched in his hand. His mother navigates the crowd, anxiety etched on her face, her eyes never leaving her son. The train station echoes with the authoritative command. "Attention, all passengers. Boarding now for Jaipur Express. Platform number 4. Arav's mother, her eyes reflecting a sudden urgency, seizes his arm with a resolute grip. She urgently pulls him forward as the train doors ominously begin to close, intensifying the frantic rush. Amid the chaotic bustle of the train platform, Arav is swiftly ushered onto the departing train. Unnoticed, his lollipop falls to the grimy platform floor, a small sacrifice lost in the clamor. In a moment of agonizing hesitation, Arav turns back, a flicker of guilt shadowing his gaze before he vanishes into the train. Amidst the teeming chaos of the train station, a young boy named Arav stands alone on the platform, his backpack a silent witness to his departure. On a solitary bench nearby, a worn stuffed bear named Toby sits quietly, a silent observer in the bustling scene. Across the distance, Arav's eyes lock with Toby's, a silent, heartrending farewell passing between them. Joyful echoes of childhood laughter fill the air as Arav and Toby frolic in idyllic scenes, their bond as radiant as the sun. A nostalgic tea party unfolds, stuffed animals attentively listening to Toby's comforting bedtime stories. Amidst the vivid memories, the sleek Nintendo Switch pulses with vibrant allure, a stark contrast to the warmth of real connection. Arav's decision hangs heavy as his eyes momentarily lock with Toby's, a silent farewell before boarding the train. The train doors close with a deafening clang, echoing the crushing weight of a promise broken. Toby sits alone on the bench, a figure of abandonment amidst the station's bustle. In the dimly lit storage room, shadows dance around forgotten relics. Mr. Briefcase, Princess Tiara, and the lonely sock. High above, Toby sits perched on the shelf, button eyes wide with longing. The lonely sock's mournful voice echoes through the room. "Ay, Soledad, cruel Soledad." In the dim, cluttered storage room, the weary station manager tacks a stark notice onto the bulletin board. Toby stares at the sign, his stuffing seeming to deflate with growing fear. Mr. Briefcase sighs, a silent testament to abandonment, while Princess Tiara's chewed edges glint sadly. In the dimly lit storage room, Toby lies awake, haunted by the Lonely Socks fado music. He closes his eyes, the memory of Arav's laughter echoing in his mind. A promise echoes in the stillness. I won't forget you, Arav, I promise. Sunlight streams into Arav's room as he sits on the floor, focused and determined. With tongue peeking from the corner of his mouth, Arav carefully mends Toby's torn ear. Don't cry, Toby, Arav whispers, his small hands working diligently. Arav's hands fumble with the needle near Toby's ear, the tension rising with each unsteady movement. A sudden slip, a tiny prick, a single drop of blood blooms on Toby's golden fur. Arav's eyes widen in panic as the unexpected consequence unfolds before him. Arav, with a tender gesture, leans in to kiss the small bloodstain marking Toby's fur. His eyes reflect a sudden resolve as he returns to his sewing, a silent vow made. Now we're blood brothers, he declares, his voice filled with solemn importance, sealing their unbreakable bond. In the dim solitude of his room, Arav sits on his bed, a worn-out stuffed bear nestled in his lap. His fingers trace the faded stain on Toby's paw, a silent echo of memories long past. As a faint scent of strawberry fills the air, Arav closes his eyes, a nostalgic smile softening his face. In the dimness of Arav's room, a secret world unfolds beneath the covers, lit by the warm glow of a flashlight. Operation Ice Cream is a go, Arav's father declares, as they share a triple scoop of strawberry delight. Toby, the silent stuffed bear, watches over the clandestine feast from his perch on the pillow. In the dim light of Arav's room, a sweet scent fills the air as sticky fingers dive into melting ice cream. Arav's father laughs, his booming voice echoing in the small apartment as a flashlight beam dances across their faces. Best crime partner ever, Arav declares, the last traces of pink ice cream marking Toby's paw. Harsh shadows dominate the apartment, amplifying the tension as yelling intensifies from a nearby room. A suitcase crashes down the stairs, each thud resonating with the palpable unease. The camera focuses on a closed closet door, hinting at hidden stories and unspoken fears. In the darkness of the closet, Arav curls into himself, a tiny ball of fear. Tears soak Toby's fur as Arav's small voice breaks the silence. Why doesn't Daddy love us anymore? The shouting continues, a constant reminder of the turmoil outside. The storm of shouting fades, leaving behind an unnerving hush. In the dim light, Toby's silent comfort radiates, a beacon in the suffocating darkness. The rhythmic thump of my heart echoes against Toby, a shared rhythm of fear giving way to quiet resolve. In the dimly lit storage room, Toby, a faded and worn stuffed bear, sits silently on a high shelf, cloaked in shadows and dust. The door creaks open, sunlight piercing through as the janitor and his granddaughter step into the room. The granddaughter looks at Toby, her voice echoing with curiosity. Why's that bear special, Dadu? In the dim storage room, the janitor and granddaughter examine Toby, his faded fur telling silent stories. Look closer, Betty, the janitor whispers as they trace a faint blue ink stain, a singed patch, and tiny toothpaste flecks on Toby's fur. Each imperfection is a memory, a boy studying frantically, Diwali sparklers lighting up faces, a couple brushing their teeth. Alone in the cold darkness, Toby sits enshrouded by shadows, his mind adrift in the day's echoes. His scars, faint reminders of trials endured, begin to glow with a quiet light, each mark a testament to love and life. A realization dawns. Love, in its truest form, isn't about being pristine. It's about being present. Rain lashes against the grimy windows of the lost found, each drop a tearful lament. Toby, the forlorn stuffed toy, sits abandoned on a janitor's cart. A woman bursts into the dimly lit room, her sari soaked, her breath ragged with mounting panic. Her gaze locks onto Toby, and she whispers in disbelief, "It's you." In the warmly lit apartment, shadows dance around a fidgeting young boy, alone on the floor. The apartment door creaks open, revealing a woman softly clutching a worn stuffed toy. "Braveheart, you came back!" the young boy exclaims, eyes widening at the sight of the toy. Arav, now a teenager, jolts awake in his bed, his heart pounding with a surge of inexplicable emotion. He struggles to grasp the fleeting echo of a familiar laugh, a cherished memory from a dream. Moonlight casts ethereal patterns on the wall, mirroring the comforting nostalgia of his childhood. Araf, a distinguished figure in a tailored suit, steps into the quaint antique shop, a treasure trove of untold stories and vintage wonders. The air thickens with the scent of lemon polish and aged paper as Arav pauses, his eyes sweeping over the collection of toys in the glass display. His gaze locks onto a faded bear, its droopy ear and frayed red ribbon whispering tales of bygone days. That one. Sunlight fills Arav's living room, softly illuminating the space. Arav carefully places Toby on a shelf, surrounded by treasured memories. His daughter's voice breaks the silence. "Who's this, Papa?" Arav looks at his daughter, warmth and emotion flooding his gaze. He lifts her gently, holding her close as he gazes at Toby. Someone who taught me how to love."